Hi, how are you? Anyway, this feels so weird recording here because it's a garden. I have neighbors. I don't want them to be listening on, but here we are. So I just cringe a little. I hate filming in public. I hate when people hear what I'm saying. So this is very uncomfortable. The only thing that makes me feel better is the fact that I don't actually live here. This is not my place. So we gotta do what we gotta do, guys. But if I sound different or weird, that's why. So as you may have guessed, I wrote another book, but this one's in English. Unlike my two previous ones. I don't know why I'm plugging them. They're in Polish and sold out anyway, but before I tell you more, you can already pre-order. There's links in the description that you can use to pre-order the book. If your country is not available yet, it will be soon or closer to the published date of the book. Is that how you call it? So when I was trying to come up with a topic for a new book, I was struggling a little, I will admit, because I feel like everything has already been written about fashion history. And I mean, a lot of the angles have been already written like multiple times about. That's a helicopter. Anyway, I feel like in the past decade or so, fashion history was covered from basically every angle. So all of the eras, all of the decades, designers, styles. There is books trying to cover all of fashion. There is books trying to cover details and small things like buttons or pockets or types of fabric. So I was thinking to myself, what is a topic that was never covered before? What is the topic that I would like to read about? And it's ugly fashion. I don't think I've ever seen anything on ugly fashion, on things that are not appealing and not cute. Of course, you may say, but what is ugly? You know, ugly is so subjective, and these trends are all hundreds of years old, so how can you objectively say that something is ugly? And the answer is you can't. What I put in the book is 100% my subjective opinion. It's what I personally consider to be the ugliest in fashion history for various reasons. It's a curated selection. It's the creme de la creme of ugliness. From eras spanning between late Middle Ages to 1980s, I think. And what is very unusual for me is that I talk both about women's and men's fashion. You know that in my videos I usually say, oh, we're gonna focus on women's fashion because that's all I know. This time, no one's safe. So each entry of the encyclopedia covers a fashion trend. It could be a piece of clothing, it could be a hairstyle, it could be a whole outfit, it could be just a detail of the outfit. And let me just say, it's not encyclopedia style descriptions. I'm not just saying, oh, this is what happened in this century and this is why I think it's ugly. No, I am absolutely dissing the clothes. I'm obliterating them. I'm ruthless. I'm quite rude, frankly. So if you see your favorite style of clothing, if you see your favorite era in the book, run. Not gonna lie, I love writing. I've always been writing even just for myself, but I've also written books. I've written for magazines. I've written for uni, and every time I was like, yeah, this kind of rocks. Like, I genuinely enjoy the action of writing. I was recently asked, oh, what's your favorite part of the writing? Like the whole process of creating the book. And I was like, writing. Because you may know that writing a book is not just the writing, it's also planning the book, it's editing the book, it's, my skirt's about to fly off. It's copy editing the book, it's finding the right illustrations, it's finding who owns the illustrations, it's asking the people for the rights to the illustrations. And for this book, I did two things that I have not done before. First of all, I commissioned illustrations. I've never commissioned illustrations before. I felt like because the book was so funny and cheeky, it would really benefit from illustrations that sort of highlight that. And I wanted to work with an illustrator to bring some of these looks to life. And so I ended up working with a very special illustrator who is my sister Gosia, that you know from some of my videos. And to be fair, I didn't want it to be too Nepo baby, so I asked her to make a sample illustration of what we think this could look like. And then we sent it to my publisher without saying who's the illustrator. I just said I have an illustrator that I would want to work with. And luckily they loved it, so she was hired, and there is several fantastic illustrations in the book. But the other thing that I did that I had not done before in my own books was that I did all the photography myself. So every now and then in the book there is a portrait of me in historical clothing that I'm discussing. And I have to say Page Street put a lot of trust in me because they were like, you can get a photographer if you want, but we're actually okay with the stuff that you create too. So I debated on having a photographer, but I was thinking with so many different outfits, so many different looks, and so many different eras, it would take literal months in the studio to make that. And it made much more sense to just take these in my own flat whenever I had the time and the lighting was good and just do it one by one. But obviously my photographic experience is close to none, so I was like, sure, yeah, I can do that, no problem. And then I realized, oop, I don't have a photo studio. I only have one lamp. My camera is 10 years old and I've never done anything like this before. So obviously I was a little stressed out. There's a train passing, man. So first I decided to take some test photos with my sister and edit them to see if I can even like mimic an actual studio and if they can even look good. Spoiler alert, without a historical outfit and without good lighting, it did not look especially spectacular. But if there is one thing I have, it's imagination. So I just looked at the photos and I was like, I could easily imagine that with the right background, with the historical outfit, I will be just fine. I'll be fine. And I risked it all and I think it worked out. It was a lot of fun and I kind of need to do photography more. But back to the book. Thank you. My priority when creating the book was I wanted it to be informative, but I wanted it to be funny. I wanted it to be fun. I don't think it's faux pas to say that I just want you to have a good time. Yes, it is an encyclopedia style book, but it absolutely does not read like an encyclopedia. Several people during the editing process told me that they laughed out loud reading the book, so I can only hope that that's also the case for you. There is a lot going on in the world right now, and I think sometimes you just need a place where you can look at weird and ugly and funny things. And the Encyclopedia of Ugly Fashion is aiming to be just that. It's supposed to be a fun book. Anyway, I hope you love the book as much as I enjoyed writing it. As I said, it is available for pre-order now. The links are in the description. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. So go forth, pre-order, spread the word. If you can't pre-order, that's also completely fine. If you just share, that's a good way to support me. If you want to go into the streets and scream about the book, that's also fine with me. Up to you, really. I'm genuinely so excited that you guys will get to read the book only in a couple of months. I know, right? I'm actually kind of stressed. I'm stressed out. Because like, what if you don't like it? But you'll like it. You'll like it. I know you will. Because you and I go way back. What am I talking about? Have a good day. Like, I'm off. This is it.